let's talk about some more Brazilian news. Now, this one right here, there was a bit of drama on Twitter. These guys were very active with their profiles, all tweeting F. Great little throwback there. They were all having a little bit of there's tweets going out when obviously the team decided that this wasn't where they wanted to stay. Now, if you're not familiar with the MIBR roster I'm talking about, it is the one that got formed late last year after Fur and Taco and Dead got the boot. Fallen decided he didn't want to play. It was kNgV and TRK left. They added Leo Drunky, they added VSM, and they added Lucas just for a temporary thing. They did. They actually surprised everybody. They played some passionate Counter-Strike. And I don't mean that in the way that we talk about the fans. I mean in the way that they were actually fucking passionate and getting fired up in the way that we love and remember Brazilian CS. And that was really good to see. But obviously, throughout these contract negotiations, things didn't appear to line up. And now it's meant to be Henny joining that project with Leo Drunky, kNgV, TRK. I don't think VSM's in there, is he? There's no VSM. Am I right?
Yeah, six-man roster.
Six guys.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense for majors and shit. So but he's obviously going to be one of their star players. Now, I don't know if we can yay or nay this one here. But let's go this direction, Prof. Do you think that they're going to find a better deal than what MIBR were offering them? Because I don't know the details of what was being offered there, but it seemed like they weren't getting offered enough money, or accommodation wasn't covered, or something along those lines.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. I think I don't know if I want to just throw numbers, but I think the number that I heard was like 10K USD plus something was covered, but not full accommodation in the US or whatever. And then I know people were complaining about how much they were getting while boot camping in Europe during the last. And there's a lot of these things which I found kind of weird in the global climate at the moment, with all of the orgs pulling out and all of this stuff. I'd just take whatever just to be safe, right?
Sign a short deal, make sure you're not trapped. Just do something that works.
6 months, a year. Then let's see what happens. But it seems like there was a report about that team going to Flamengo esports, which is the football club, a big football club in Brazil, making some sort of an esports team. That's something that propped up. So maybe if they had that in their pocket, maybe the whole deal with MIBR was when they even went into the negotiation, they were like, if you don't give us this and this, then we go and we play for our guys back home. Which, even though MIBR is a big brand name, it's kind of gotten tarnished over the last 2 years. So maybe they see this as a more prestigious thing for them. I don't know who to compare it with for European or American viewers, but it is kind of a big brand.
Yeah, so I think what's kind of interesting with this one here, Striker, is it's reuniting 3 of the players who were together when they were in that PGL major we were just referencing before, right? That was a long time ago now. Do you think that if we just consider them the core, I know this seems ridiculous.
Who's the third one?
Henny, Lucas, kNgV.
kNgV, oh yeah, right, okay.
Yeah. Do we think that these guys as a team, if we're not going to talk about organizations and stuff, we just look at the 5 guys they have as a team or 6, I suppose, and what we saw them do when they were on European soil, do we think this has promise to be a top 20 team?
I don't know.
It's hard to say. I'm putting you on the spot here.
If it is, then it's going to be borderline. They're probably going to be somewhere around that level. Being able to compete against the best, but probably not consistently. Where they challenge for titles and stuff like that. I feel like they could be that godsend level team. That's going to be able to upset a lot of the big teams, but not go far all the time.
Okay.
Why do you think they what we saw at the end of the year was kind of promising? And I know a lot of people, based on that, just saw the trajectory and were like, okay, now these guys are just going to continue this. It's never going to stop, obviously. It's just going to continue this way. But why do you think it's not?
Me or Striker? Or either of us?
Either.
Do you have a take on this?
I think it's not, because when you're a new team, and they obviously had a time boot camping in Europe to catch themselves up individually in terms of not over peaking and understanding scenarios and stuff. We always talk about this, and I think it got lost a little bit in 2020 because there wasn't LANs, and when roster changes happened, there was so much 6-man bullshit as well, and this stuff going on that we didn't talk about as much as what we normally do. And we normally talk about the honeymoon periods of teams, right? These guys came out and they were playing what I would consider classic Brazilian CS in their not in game, how they were outside of the game, having kNgV there. Like I don't know what the fuck kNgV is saying, but I can imagine that guy has a massive heart that he wears on his sleeve and love for this game. What they're doing is they're playing fired up CS in a modern era. So they're playing by the rules that we have to, you know, be good with our utility and be a bit slower and stuff, but they're still playing with that energy. And I think that energy is something which a lot of the other teams they were playing against don't have at the moment, or haven't had for the majority of 2020, because of the whole COVID situation, right? Like I've been talking to some players recently and asking about this, and I still get the same response of, yeah, like it's hard to get fired up for online stuff, or it's really hard to be motivated. And I, as Chad Burchill, the analyst, I go, that's fucking bullshit. This is your job. You're getting paid for it. You know, you need to be giving this 110%. This is still prestigious Counter-Strike. This is all we got. You know, that's the stuff I'd say on top of my soapbox. But when I think about it, and I would try and relate to be in their position, and imagine playing on a stage in Katowice in front of, you know, 10,000 fans, or being in that Blast Copenhagen arena and people just going bonkers. And then you're at home in your bedroom, and I'm in my bedroom right now, and I'm looking around, and I don't have my teammates around, and I can't, like, so I think the MIBR had that going for them. I think that they were playing better CS than what we had seen any MIBR roster play for the 2 years before that. But I think that it would have to plateau at some point. And it's not like they were on a consistent, they weren't just playing world beaters, right? They had some games against some teams who were more lower down the mix. So it's hard to consider that trajectory to keep going up and up and up and up. I don't know if that's a good enough reason. It kind of feels a bit airy-fairy, like I'm not pointing out anything technically in the game and stuff. And that's probably because I wouldn't even be able to break down their play style for you overall. But yeah,
I'm curious about, especially, is how they're going to deal with, obviously with them having 6 players, how are they going to deal with Henny and kNgV? I don't expect
it
worked
before.
I don't expect I don't expect one of them to be out all the time, you know. Obviously there's VSM as well. You basically have
to be the guy on the rifle, because he seemed to be pretty decent on that in Furia, if you ask me. Like his rifling was completely fine. Not maybe like the best in the world, not like a top 5 level or whatever, but I didn't see him like miss anything. He had some good clutches. He had like good moments with the rifle, so seemed capable as that. And I think kNgV not being the upper would change too much for that team.
I feel like both of them are capable of like switching around and stuff like that. So I'm not sure, like, but I just don't see the both of them being out at the same time, or like one of them being out at the all the time, you know. So it has to be like instead of VSM for certain tournaments and stuff like that. And I don't see Henny just leaving his team to be like, you know, potentially like a rotating guy, you know. So
they
that's
might change
another
it
thing.
per map. You never know, right?
Yeah,
like
maybe
they might
hard
do
to
it
say
like
today.
that. And I think something that the people in chat, just for those of you who are referencing it, it did work in the past, and then they did as Immortals make that major final. One of the things you have to consider is how much the game has changed since 2017, right? Like, especially you consider 2017 was when they made the final, and then the next year is when Astralis kicked off their dominance and basically completely changed the way that we play the game. So double ops in the current meta, you have to be really fucking good to make that work on a consistent basis.
It wasn't like that. The Immortals team was actually great. Let's be honest. Like that was their only big result. They had like a couple of like DreamHack Opens and stuff like that where they did well, but they didn't have any other good run practically. So using that as a model of, yeah, this is a good way to play. I don't like, it can work for one event, but it doesn't mean it's a good way to play, right?
Sure. All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about MIBR? Apparently, they're going to be picking up the Boom roster, who are minus Phelps at the moment. So I don't know who the fifth is going to be there. I guess that's about it.
And the rumor is Phelps goes to the Taco team, right? With
Dumar
with
and
Dead Dumal, like Dead is co-owner or something, and then, or I don't know, just running the team, and Dumal, Lato, Phelps, Taco, and someone else. So that's kind of the rumors that are flying around for some time.
I like that. Like, I actually like the sounds of that if that is a team, because what it feels like they're doing to me is like they're separating the pieces, right? If Fallen goes to Liquid, he can help Liquid. Like if we get the best at it, Taco gets a chance to redefine himself, because in that team, if I was Taco, I would want to be the in-game leader. I played with Fallen, I played on Liquid, I played top tier Counter-Strike for the majority of my career. I would, my career is now shifting. If I was Taco, I'd want to be the in-game leader. He could be like a Carrigan style entry in-game leader, making space and having shit called for him, instead of being the guy who Fallen goes, yo, listen, Taco, mate, we're gonna need you to fucking run out B apps and die, and we don't have any flashes for you. And he has to do it, right? But if he goes as an in-game leader and he can make the strats around him finding space, that's cool. And then these young guns, he can help grow another team. And let's say that boom, they get a solid fifth. Well, we already know Bolts has good experience with those guys have all been playing in North America in the realms of, we could actually, because of MIBR falling apart, see ourselves with more Brazilian teams who are competitive, which is really exciting, if I'm honest, because it stagnated for a while, like the Polish scene, like the Swedish scene, but the what Fallen and his boys have done over these last years is build an insane grassroots platform that now they can actually go and harvest, right? They can go back and harvest this and they can work out where they want to go. So hopefully good things for Brazilian Counter-Strike, and hopefully we get to see more from all of those players I just listed. Now let's keep going. We're fucking already 51 minutes in, and we're only in our second topic with the roster talk. All right, next one.